72 hours, goddamn, I'm feeling amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix. My mind is living on cloud nine, and this line is never on vacation. Start up that Maserati and
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hoarcrux here, bringing you my Magicka Sorcerer PvP build for the Greymoor patch. I entitled it Immortal because you're damn near immortal in this build. This is a build not for the faint of heart. So take the idea that you have Sorcerer, pretty elusive, kind of high burst, kind of squishy, and just completely squish it. Get that out of your fucking head. This build does not function that way at all. We're actually not using Streak whatsoever in this build. We're so tanky that we don't even need it. We don't need the CC, we don't need to get away and pussy out of fights. We can just stay right in the thick of it and get away with it, guys. And I want to show you how in just a moment. So, taking a look at the character sheet, here's everything completely unbuffed. We'll take a look at our bars respectively. So, front bar, here's what we got. There's a 3600 spell damage. So, back bar, everything fully buffed. We don't have to worry on procs. So we got 30k resistance on our back bar. We got 3k crit resist. As long as you run the crit posture, up to 40% crit as well. 41k max mag. Stamina recovers at a juicy 1000. Magic recoveries at a perfect 1800. If you're a high elf, that's pretty much what I expect to be at anyway. Any more or less, you're just kind of wasting stat points at that point, in my opinion. Food, we're running spring loaded fusion. The Mundus mage as always. Now the race, you can go with high elf, Breton, Dunmer, doesn't really matter, but for this build in particular I'm preferring high elf just because it does have a stamina passive and a little bit more extra regen. We don't really need the mitigation. We don't need to be any more tanky than we already are, so I'm going with the most damage possible, which is going to be the high elf. So how are we going to pull all this shit off, guys, without using Streak? So let's kind of take a look at the sets. First, running, the build kind of revolves around this Master's Perfected Inferno Staff. You don't have to have the perfected version. The only difference between the normal and perfected version is just the extra 100 spell damage it gives you, which is pretty negligible in my opinion. We're running weapon damage enchantment Nirnhone. It's very important when we go in for a burst to have as much spell damage as possible at that time, because in general our spell damage isn't very high. Our sustained pressure isn't that high. We're completely relying on our burst to dick kids down, and with the Perfected Master's Inferno Staff, there's no better item to really run in order to do so. Now, next set we're going to run is Armor Master. Now, this is on a back bar only. Running defending trait on the sword, sturdy on the shield, max mag. So, what's it do? If you guys aren't familiar, here you go. Use your health, 2 instances of armor, and on the back bar you get increased health pool. And also, when you use dampen or harness or any armor ability, you get an extra 5270 crit resist, or no, excuse me, spell on physical resist. That's how I get up to 30k. And since this is a sorcerer, you're going to use words anyway, so this just goes really, really well with the class. Just run poison on the back bar. We're not going to be light attacking too much on our back bar. You can run absorb magic enchant here if you want, but I just opted for the poisons. Next up we're running is Pirate Skeleton. So if you guys aren't familiar, Pirate Skeleton gives you an instance of armor, and when you take damage to your health, you get major protection and major defile. And this has a 66.7% uptime. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it really is. You don't need all this tank ability all the time, but for the times that you do need it, this really comes in clutch. Or if you need to squeeze out a burst and you need to risk it for the biscuit, this shit really comes in clutch. Now, oops, my bad. So the reason we can get away with running this is because we don't give a fuck about the major defile. We only care about the major protection. We don't really need to heal. We're not worried about healing. This is why we're running 2 wards on this class, which I'll explain the skills in just a moment. So you take all the positives and you don't have to worry about the negatives of the set. Really good on Sorcerer. It used to be kind of the other way around. It used to be good on other classes and not Sorc. And now it's, you know, the turns have tabled, fellas. I could run this on a Magicka Sorcerer, Nightblade, any other class I really want to recommend it on, in my opinion. Running a well-fitted on the head and the shoulders. It's entirely up to you. I just like to roll dodge a lot. It fits my playstyle, so I run well fitted. Running 5-1-1, by the way, 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy to maximize our Dawn and passives. Armor Master set again. We're running tri-stats on this piece and the headpiece. Now on the legs, we're just running a normal magic enchantment because we don't really need any more health or stamina than we already have. And last but not least, we're running Bright Throat's Boast. This is one of the most stat heavy sets in the game, as long as you have a drink active. You can use this or Crafty. It's entirely up to you, but if you use Crafty, you do have to go with a little bit more recovery on the build. I've tried both. Bright Throat just seems to work the best for me. Impin on everything else. You can run a couple more well-fitted if you want to, but I really don't need the point. You're not roll dodging too often anyway, but when you do, it really helps to have a little bit of the cost reduction there. So on the jewelry, run a 1 stamina recovery. This goes a very, very, very long way. Just having this extra stamina recovery loop here. This effectively gives you like 250 stamina recovery because of your passives. So this is how we're able to get over 1,000 stamina recovery. I wouldn't on any sorcerer build, just in my opinion, guys. I got thousands of hours on Magicka Sorcerer, and having under 1,000 stamina recovery, I just feel so gimped. I don't know if it's my playstyle or what it is, but I feel like very, very unsafe unless I have a really high stamina pool. Now, the other two jewelry enchantments, we're running Magic Recovery. Like I said, 1,800 is a very good sweet spot. You don't really need any more or any less than that. You don't need any more damage on this build, so go with the recovery. Don't go with the cost reduction, because the cost reduction stacks diminishingly with your light armor and passives. I can explain that if you guys want me to, or leave a comment down of how that works, but go with Magic Recovery, trust me on that one. Now, let's take a look at our skill kit. We're running Frags, Haunting Curse. This is pretty typical for any Magicka Sorcerer class. Running Boundless Storm, this gives us our resistance buff, does a little bit of damage, and it pairs really well with one other ability we're running, Critical Surge. I'll explain that combo in just a moment. Running Crushing Shock, this is really good utility, range interrupt. This is our spammable. Our CC on our bar, Flame Clinch, this also sets up for our burst. It gives us the spell damage from our Perfected Inferno Staff, as well as the CC. So, essentially you're going to Curse, Light Attack, Crushing Shock, Light Attack, Flame Reach into a frag, GG, no re. Oh, we're running our front bar is Frank, Charge Frank. Not running the Greater Frank. The Charge Frank is really good because it does AoE splash every few seconds. So it lasts almost as long as the Greater Storm Astronaut, but having the AoE suppression is really, really strong, especially when you see what we're running on our back bar. One of the most underutilized skills. I don't see any sorcerers running this, and it actually blows my mind because it's my favorite skill on the sorcerer class, by far, is Daedric Minefield. We'll go over that in just a second. It's running Dark Conversion. This helps in case we're getting really low on magic and we have hella stamina to play around with. This just helps us, yin and yang, balance that shit out. It's pretty cheap. Plus, if you're running the Unchained passives in your CP tree, every time you break CC, this is pretty much free to cast as long as you use it within a few seconds of breaking free. Running 2 wards, running Harden just because, it's your best ward that you have on Magicka Sorcerer. Running Dampen. We're not keeping Dampen up at all times. We're just applying Dampen roughly every 10 seconds, or if we're getting really, really heavily pressured. Point being, it is very expensive to cost. It is inferior compared to Hardened Ward in terms of shield size. So pretty much the only time we're going to keep this up is when we're getting really, really heavily pressured. And also, you see my buff in the left-hand side of the screen there, Armor Master. Be sure we can keep that proc as much as possible. Next, we're using Critical Surge. Every time we get a crit, we get a heal. This is our heal since we have no direct heals. And you'd be surprised how often this does heal you and keep you capped off up to full. This is one of the benefits of running Crushing Shock because this does 3 instances of damage. So essentially, odds are it's going to heal you as well. And Boundless Storm, when you have 2 or 3 people on you, this is critting literally all the time. We have 40% crit resist. So the entire time people are on you, you're healing. It's a very, very decent heal. And, it frees up a slot on your bar. You don't have to waste it running like Rapid Regen or something. Just as long as you keep your wards up, you're going to be capped off pretty much all the time with Critical Surge. And because we had 30k resistances and really high max match pool, it's really, really hard to get through our wards, guys. With minor protection, major protection, 30k resistances, all these stacks on top of your wards. So you have 38% flat damage mitigation on top of the 30k resistances. On top of really 2 beefy-ass wards. Plus you're roll dodging, blocking, because we're using Sword and Board. Getting through those wards is like Fort Knox. I shit you not. I cannot wait to show you guys some of the clips. I'll either tack them on at the end of the video or I'll make them their own separate entity. Point being, I don't think a lot of you guys are going to believe that you can 1vx on this without running Streak. I'm going to prove you guys wrong. Just stay tuned for that one. Now, Daedric Minefield, like I said, this is one of my favorite skills on the Sorcerer kit. It's a root. It does hella damage. It's a lot of outplay potential. You stack these in a really tight corridor, you can 100 to 0 people with just your mines. You can spam this as much as possible just because we have a huge magical pool to play around with, a lot of recovery. So this really forces people to change their playstyle. So they can, you know, put on their big boy panties, roll through your mines, or they're going to take, like, I would say in Cyrodiil, everything buffed up. You know, I mean, we'll say roughly, we'll just say fucking front bars will be 9k worth of damage. Half of that, you know, it's like, we'll just say fuck it, 4k, 4500, whatever. They run through 2 or 3 of these, they're taking half their health pool and just raw fucking damage on top of the bursting you're hitting with as soon as they come out of it. And God forbid, guys, if you drop mines and they try to roll dodge through your shit and you drop Frank right in the middle of this, they are fucked. Whoever's in this mines with Frank are absolutely fucked. You may have 2 or 3 people in this, which is great because Frank does AoE as long as you use Charge Frank. Charge Frank is definitely the way to go for this one. Back bar, rank Temporal Guard. This is how we access the minor protection, further reducing our damage taken on our back bar. A lot of outplay potential as well with the rewind skill. You can jump off a cliff, you can roll down a mountain, whatever, jump to the slaughterfish up on Sejanus Bridge, and then just teleport back up. You know, GG no re. So this goes over a kit. Now, if you have a small penis, just kidding guys, just kidding. If you want to run streak, you definitely could. A more typical sorcerer, I'm just playing with you guys when I say you don't have to run streak. For average players and new players, you definitely want to run streak on this. Like I said, this build is not for the faint of heart. It's a very big dick in your face build. So if you want to run streak, that's fine. Just take off Minefield, put on streak, or bound ball lightning. Yeah, ball lightning. It's entirely up to you. But for the sake of this build, I'm definitely running Daedric Minefield because I don't like to streak away from fights. There's really nothing you're proving there except your build failed. Now you have to run. So with Daedric Minefield, this actually gives you a lot of turnaround potential, and you win a lot of 1vx's and that you wouldn't normally win running this. Yeah, there's situations where you're just gonna get zerged over, and you know. But let's be real, guys. If you have streak on the bar and you streak 2 or 3 times, if that zerg belongs to you, they're going to get that dick. They're going to get that dick hard. The Zerg, especially in the mid-year mayhem, were super, super thirsty. I don't know if they've been out in the desert and they was deprived of all liquids for months at a time, but they was super thirsty. It wouldn't matter how much I streak. The bastards would always catch up with me. They'd mount up and rapid store me. So, with all that being said, Daedric Minefield is the way to go. So that does it for the kit. I'm not going to waste time go over the passive guys. No offense, you know, maybe newer players, whatever, but I'm trying to keep this short as sweet as possible. The last thing to really go over is our champion system. Keep in mind, I'm not max CP on this account, so this will vary a little bit. Blue Tree, we got 20%, 11% here, 3740 here. Mastered Arms, Staff Expert. The other 53 points you will have left over, put in the Staff Expert and Spell Erosion. Red Tree, 56, 31, 23, 19, 10, blah, 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 56, 3. Now, in this tree, right here, you want to have 53 points left over. Put the rest of your points in this tree, just so you can get access to the Unchained passive. Like I said, when you use a Break Free ability, the cost of your next stamina ability, within 5 seconds, you're reduced by 80%. You use this with your Dark Conversion, so you'll Break Free, roll dodge, typical, cast a Dark Conversion. You're not going to be able to get interrupted because you're CC immune, you're going to heal, you'll get resources back for literally nothing. One other passive to point out in the champion system, people kind of overlook, is Foresight. Whenever you drink a potion, the next magic ability you use within 7 seconds reduced by 80%. So typically what I like to do, I like to pop a potion, and then use Daedric Minefield. So I just popped a potion, look at the cost of Daedric Minefield. Not even 1,000, and you get this super massive ass skill on the ground to play around with. Just keep that in mind. Just the more you know, the more practice makes perfect. Ew, what trios are we on? Alright, so yeah, Unchained passive. 20% here, don't need more than that. If you do have any points left over, toss them to Expert Defender, but I don't believe you will. Next, have this up to 20% Warlord. One in the Siphoner just for a debuff. That's your opponents have to cleanse. That's really annoying sometimes. Like Curse Eater will sometimes, you know, remove this, and that's one effect that it could have been eating something else. Like you guys get what I'm saying. This takes the place of a debuff. It doesn't really do anything. It's just there to annoy the healers. So we got Arcanus, Mooncalf. I would get Mooncalf as well up to 10%. Get these up to 11% actually. Tumbling Shadow Ward. Keep Shadow Ward here. Toss the rest of your points into Tumbling. As I've stated before, you guys are going to have more CP than me, so put them in the Mooncalf, Arcanus, and Tumbling. So that does it for the build, guys. Try to keep it short and sweet. If you guys have any questions, you want to make fun of me for not running Streak, I'm going to prove you guys wrong. The next build video, or not build video, next gameplay footage I put out. Thank you guys for the support. On a real note, I've gotten a lot of subs here in the past few weeks. It really means a lot, guys, as you come in and watch and critique my builds, watch my builds, copy my builds, and make them your own, however you want to do it. I'm really glad I can help. Thank you for the support. It really means a lot. And if you guys aren't currently subscribed, about 88% of you guys are not subscribed. Please, if you want to see this build live in action, I will be streaming tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, enable the notification button, and you can check this build out live in action. No editing, just raw footage. So if you guys would like to see that, you know what to do. So this has been Hoarcrux with his Immortal Magicka Sorcerer PvP build for the Greymoor patch. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and deuces.